Hey everyone, lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen back with you. Today we're going to be talking about Oracle, the day trading algorithm. And listen, I know I was a new trader too, 18 years ago. And I know one of the biggest struggles was, there's thousands and thousands of stocks. Each day, depending on the day, there could be 50 gappers, there could be 100 gappers. I mean, there's a lot of these stocks that are moving with news, without news. So I know that one of the biggest struggles is focus. How do I discern whether this stock is a good one, a mediocre, a bad one? There's all these things popping. I'm sure many of you run a scan into the market open and you're like red and green lines everywhere. How do I choose? So what's great about Oracle is a lot of things, but what it does is it starts out right at 4 a.m. Eastern, right when NASDAQ and NYSE open up, and it starts tracking data. It's literally tracking all of the prints, the ticks, the upticks, the downticks, and it's measuring the volatility. So what it's looking for each day is stocks that have spikeability, as we like to say, volatility range, okay? It's not just a stock that gaps up and does nothing. These are stocks that are actually moving, which gives us trading opportunities. Remember, volatility is good, okay? I know that a lot of times volatility is almost get like a dirty word on CNBC or whatever. We need volatility. If stocks only move 1% up or down, there's no opportunity there. So we want volatility. So what Oracle does, again, starting at 4 a.m., starts building a watch list of stocks that have current as well as past volatility. Many of you might have heard the term former runner, and maybe you've been confused by that. So when they start hitting the scan, it actually does technical analysis, goes back and looks at the previous range of the stock, and then starts building out support and resistance levels based on historical as well as present data. A lot of people don't know it's doing this, okay? It's literally looking at the past as well as the present to ideally predict the future. Now, we can't guarantee the outcome of the future, but we know, and many of you have heard this, the idea of looking at past price action to predict future movement. And that's exactly what it's doing. So as we move in to pre-market, it's already mapping out support and resistance levels that give you potential entries and exits in pre-market, both long and short, okay? So it maps out the major resistance levels. When those levels break, that's your buy. It also maps out major support levels. If those break down, that's your short. And then the beautiful thing is, if it just bangs around between those ranges, it's a no-go. You just avoid it. So what Oracle does, takes 20,000 stocks down to just 20. Now, I know what you're saying. You might think, whoa, 20 is a lot. Most days, depending on how bullish or bearish the market is, it's usually about a 50-50 mix of longs and shorts, okay? So if you're a more advanced trader, you can play them both ways. 20 isn't that much. It's not that many to keep an eye on 20 stocks. But if you're brand new, you'll know that, what I recommend and pretty much everyone recommends is, you kind of get your experience under you, you get a little bit of profitability on the long side, you trade these stocks, you figure out how fast they move. Then as you get more experience, you start flipping to the short side. I don't consider short selling advanced, but I do consider it intermediate. I think a lot of people start shorting too soon when they're brand new and they don't realize how fast these stocks can spike and they get in trouble real fast. So if you think of that scenario, I'm guessing you're on the channel because you're either new and or struggling, you're looking for a system. So today, for instance, you got about 10 stocks to trade into the market open that were the long opportunities. So you can just filter out all of the short opportunities, which I've done on my screen. You'll notice that only the stocks that are predicted to be the bullish side to the upside are on my screen, and you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stocks. Beautiful, okay? So I've got 9 stocks. Then you can trade these in pre-market using the support and resistance lines, trading breakouts and breakdowns, ignoring the stocks that are sideways. Then the secret sauce of Oracle is into the market open. So you have all of these stocks in pre. Right at the market open, there's that 2 to 3 minute period that's always the most volume as well as the most volatility right at the market open. Now what the algo does is it actually inhales all of those upticks and downticks, looking at the volume, looking at the range of the upticks and the, basically how violent they were to the upside, how violent they were to the downside. And then it takes in all that first couple minutes of the day, looking at the ranges. Then it goes back and looks at the price action from the past to then give you an entry, stop loss, and goal after the market open. Now, what I love about that is you've got an algorithm that's basically inhaling all of that data so that you don't have to do it on your own. Like, I don't even think a human could. I mean, you can watch the upticks and downticks, but can you track the size on a stock trading 100 million shares and actually be able to do that as a human? That's the beauty of the technology. Then right after the market open, you're given an entry signal of entry to buy the stock at, as well as low levels below to stop at and levels above to take profits at. So it does a lot of that really hard work for you. I mean, that's the beauty of technology. Computers were invented, like you think back to the 40s and the 50s. They were invented to do very mundane, routine, high calculation heavy tasks and without mistakes. And listen, a human, you could add up 1 million lines in a spreadsheet on your own, but it's a lot easier to just cut and paste it and hit the sum function in Excel, right? It's kind of the same idea with Oracle. So now, you now know the best stocks, and you know when to buy them, and you know when to stop out, and you know when to take losses. So I'm just going to run through some of these today, okay, this very day, and you can see MYTE right here at the top. Very volatile stock, super sketchy stock, but very day tradable. And you can see it had a $5.79 signal. Now that signal comes out just after the market open. And the way you trade these signals, whether you set alerts or you have your orders sitting there, you wait for that price to hit, because that's the key breaking point, and you trade that stock at that level. If it doesn't hit that level, you ignore it. And I'll show you some examples of those. So if you see MYTE didn't even hit $5.79 until 12:21 p.m. Think about that. You had 3 hours. So this stock gapped down at the open, kind of was chopping around, came back, hit the entry, which, no surprise, coincided with VWAP in this instance, hit that entry, and immediately spiked over $1 a share for over 20% of upside. Now, at this point, it's 2 in the afternoon. Stock might not be done, but the point is, you could have been ready hours in advance. SRRK, higher price stock, but they had great FDA news today. $27.54 signal on this one. It hit that level at, let me get there, right after the market opened. Would have had to be much faster on this one, but this is FDA approval, a quality company, not a penny stock, and as of right now, went to 33 plus, $5 a share of upside, and again, that's an example of a stock that's up 20% right now, and this could be a potential swing trade. This has legs into the multiple days. RIME, 67-cent signal. It hit right after the market opened, spiked up and pulled back, but you could have taken profits into that big spike, or worst case scenario, the great thing about the Oracle signals is you could have just stopped out at break even. Nothing wrong with breaking even on a trade, but this one did spike 17% past that. Go to HIMS. Okay, I'm just going down the list here. HIMS, many of you know this. They're that online pharmacy. They've been known for like ED meds and stuff like that, but recently they announced that they've got a very low-priced GLP-1, an Ozempic, and they had some news this morning. This stock hit the signal about 9:45. This is more of a real company, slower mover, swing type stock. Like, I think this thing has great legs over the next few weeks and months, especially as they continue to pump out their GLPs. And this stock hit, and it's currently up, about 70 cents a share. Not a huge winner, but it is a real company, has good trend over time. And then you go down to like LGMK, okay? LGMK, true penny stock, and this is the last point I'll finish on with this. LGMK, low price stock, big gapper in pre, And this is actually one of the favorite things I like about Oracle for new traders. Notice, this thing ran up a couple times in pre-market, faded into the open, and then ripped back right at the market open. But what I want you to notice, it never hit the entry. And this thing's currently sitting about 30–40% lower than where it started the day. So think about that. If you've been stuck in these stocks, you think it's going to go, you buy it, you don't know what to do after that, you become a bag holder. I can't stress this enough. LGMK came close, but it never hit the entry signal. So you would have never traded this stock, you would have avoided it, and you wouldn't be sitting in it down here at 12, 13 cents, hoping and praying that you'll get unwound. So it's just an example of the best runners of the day. All were on Oracle in pre-market. All of the entry signals, stop losses, and goals were delivered at the market open. And you can see that the best stocks of the day, by far and above the best stocks, were predicted by this. And there were a few no-goes, like LGMK. And then you go back to some of them that spiked, but then faded. And then you just stop out at the initial entry, break-even trade. When we're trading really volatile stocks, break-even trades aren't a bad thing. So the last point I will finish on, guys, is it does this every single trading day. And I didn't even talk about the short selling opportunities. I'll save that for another video. But think about the power of that when there's hundreds, thousands of stocks moving every day. You didn't have to guess which ones, which maybe you get lucky and you guess the right stock. Maybe you got lucky. Next step is, where do I buy it? Maybe you get lucky. I don't care about luck. Next step, where do you take profits? Maybe you get lucky. Taking stop losses, maybe you get lucky. What Oracle does is it removes all of the guessing games and allows you to hone in on the best stocks and not have to try and struggle to interpret price action, chart patterns, trying to figure out how to write a trade plan for entries, exits, stop losses, and goals. It simply guides you through the trade. And as a new trader, that I'm sure many of you are, I think back to 18 years ago. That was my biggest struggle. Like, people would be talking about these stocks. They'd be talking about this ticker. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, why that one? So then I blindly follow like most new traders do. And then they buy it. But I'm like, well, why that price? And then they take profits. I'm like, well, why did you take profits there? Or they stop out. Remember, day trading, we take losses. It's part of the game. Small losses, big gains. Every stock on Oracle identifies great risk to reward. Big upside for limited downside. So I was always trying to figure out why this stock, why this price, why this stop, why this goal, and I never could. So that's why we created Oracle using the power of technology, using algorithms. We pay $100,000 a month, every single month, to pump data into this thing to make all of that easier for you. Now, last point. You can check out the link below to the Daily Income Trader system. Oracle is included in the Daily Income Trader system, as well as multiple live webinars with me and other mentors using the tool. So you might look at it and you might be like, wow, there's a lot of numbers there. Tim, it looks complex. That's the beauty of the Daily Income Trader system. We use Oracle together, and you have somebody, like with my webinars, that helped design it and has been using it every day for over 10 years, walk you through how to use it. So if it looks complicated, you can check out the Daily Income Trader system, full access to Oracle, as well as multiple webinars a day. Using it together will get you up to speed super fast.